Hello everyone, this is going to be all about settings, giving you the optimum settings for performance in Wings of Liberty, for performance in the game, taking out all the extraneous things that you don't need and making sure all the things that you do need are there for you when you need them. Starting off, you're going to go into your search bar and you're going to search for keyboard. And it'll show up under the control panel right there like that. The two settings that you want to look at here are repeat delay and repeat rate. We want our repeat delay as short as possible, so that way when you're holding down a button and you want to click cast force fields or other spells, it'll happen as soon as possible. And you want your repeat rate as fast as possible for the same reason, and also for building many zerglings and building many roaches and warping in many stalkers and things like that. Those are the only two things you need for that. So once you've set those to the shortest delay and the fastest repeat rate, you can hit OK. Then we're going to look into the mouse. Under control panel again, you have the mouse. Going to move over to pointer options, and you want the pointer speed to be at default, which is 6 out of 11. So there are 11 little lines here. Make sure it's on the 6th one, which is right here. And now we get to enhancing your pointer precision, which doesn't enhance your pointer precision. Enhancing pointer precision is actually mouse acceleration. If you have that on, it will make the mouse cursor move faster across the screen the longer you're moving it across the screen. This is great when you have a laptop trackpad and you want to get somewhere fast, but it's not very good when you want to be accurate and playing a game like StarCraft. So you want that to be off. This is not enhancing your pointer precision. This is mouse acceleration. This is a lie. That is all. That is all you need to do. Cool. Now we're going to go into Wings of Liberty itself and look at the in-game options. First thing is graphics. You want your display mode to be at a 9:16. That is a sort of longer resolution. If it's not 9:16, you're going to lose part of the game. Like part of the game on the sides will be gone. So make sure you're playing on a 9:16. Even if you have a square monitor, I really highly suggest playing with the 9:16. Windowed full screen is the way I like to play it. If you like full screen, what have you, not going to make a big deal. The thing that will make a big deal, though, is the graphic settings. We want low settings on everything at first, and the small adjustments we're going to make are medium shaders, and that will turn the shadows automatically to medium. That's where you want them, and models on high. Having these particular settings is going to allow you to see cloaked units of your enemy very easily, and you're going to see specific units warping in through stargates and through warp gates. And that's very valuable, especially in some early game situations, even in some late game situations. It's just good. You have more information. All the other settings are extraneous. You don't need them. If you want them, great. But this is sort of making everything as simplified as possible. Sound. The only things that you can get rid of in sound that are extraneous are the music, the ambient sounds, and the movement sounds. These things aren't necessary, but everything else is. So set it the way you like it. This is the way I like it. Adjust your volumes until they're good for you. Game volume during alerts is a really cool feature. Basically what it does is if you need to construct additional pylons, when the alert comes in that says you must construct additional pylons, everything else in the game gets a little bit quieter, depending on what percentage quieter you would like it. And then it'll go right back to the way it was after the alert is done. This sort of brings the alert into the foreground, so that way you don't miss it. Or maybe nuclear launch detected, you might want to know when that's going on, etc. All the stuff on this side, not really that critical. Voice, I don't use it. You can if you want to. Controls. Do not enable mouse sensitivity. This is the same reason why we have 6:11. 6:11. That's the same reason why we have 6 out of 11 on the mouse screen that we just did in Windows. This is going to make sure that you're not skipping any pixels. This is going to make sure that it's the most consistent accuracy possible, so that way you are getting used to something that's accurate, something that's good, so to say. Mouse wheel zoom, I don't really like it. If you like it, go for it. Some people actually use the mouse wheel zoom for spotting observers, but that's kind of covered in the graphics portion. I've never had any problems spotting observers or DTs, but some people like to do that, so if you like to do that, go ahead. You can find mouse cursor, whatever. Alt-tab, shortcut, I like it, whatever. All personal stuff here. Disable Windows keys, etc. All personal stuff. Gameplay. You want the status bars to be on always. The reason for this is you want as much information on the screen at a time so you can absorb it. Initially, it's going to be difficult for you to absorb all of the information on a given screen at one point in time. As you practice, you will be able to look at a screen and instantly absorb all of the information that you need from that screen at all times. Menu bar, hidden. You don't need to click on the menu. You can have a hotkey for it, memorize what that hotkey is, and hide the menu bar. This is going to allow you to have a little bit more vision, small amount more vision. But again, we're getting rid of all the extraneous things. Menu bars, we don't need that, it's extraneous. Team colored life status bar. What this is going to do is change the color of the life bars to, I think, red for enemies. But the point is it's one color. So you can't pick out the weakened units by their color. So for me, seeing things in the red makes it very easy to target fire them down and micro and all this kind of stuff. Whereas trying to look through a sea of bars to find out which one is the weak one that I need to target is much more difficult. Control groups, unclickable. I like to see what are what's in my control groups and not be able to click on them, because if I am microing and I click in the bottom portion of the screen and I wanted to move my unit there, or I wanted to select a unit there or something like that, I accidentally click my control group and everything's all messed up. Maybe I lose the battle, maybe I lose the game. It's not really a necessary thing. Flyer helper, what this is going to do is put a line basically from a flying unit down to the ground, so that when you target with things like storm or fungal growth, you can hit it every time. Make sure you always aim on the ground. You always want to aim on the ground for that stuff. So wherever the flyer helper is on the ground, that's where you aim for your fungal, psionic storms, EMPs. Smart camera pan, you want that off. That's going to create a smooth transition when you're clicking through different places. This is nice for observing purposes, but for playing purposes, it's a waste. It's a waste of time. You're spending a lot of time that you could be doing stuff and looking at the pretty scenery in between the stuff that you need to do and the other stuff that you need to do. Display build grid is so helpful. Display build grid is probably the most helpful thing in this setting, in all settings, other than maybe show game timer. Display build grid is so awesome. Just use it. It's great. It's going to display a grid upon which you can build. This helps you know where the edges of your base are, so you can position your buildings. SimCity, make sure your wall offs are right, stuff like that. And in Heart of the Swarm, even Zergs will be walling off a little bit more because a spine crawler can wall off. Cool. Reduce violence. If you don't like violence, you can reduce it. Enough said. Show alerts. Show alerts can be helpful. Some people like to have them on. Unfortunately, you can't make alerts unclickable. You can't make them visible but unclickable. So they're going to appear. The alerts are going to appear on the left side of the screen. And if you don't want to click them and you have something to micro over there, to select over there, and you click them accidentally, they will take you to that alert. And that might not be something you want to do. That's why I have it off. Show game timer, absolutely necessary. You may not be doing it now, but as time goes on, it's a much easier thing to do, in my opinion, to just say, oh, okay, he put his spawning pool down at 2 minutes, he's doing X build, whatever build that might be. Or he'll be able to have Zerglings in my base at X minutes, so I can watch out for that. Display world object tooltips, all that's going to do is say, this is a Zelnaga watchtower. These are destructible rocks. If you don't know that already, I just told you, so now you know, so we're done with that. Display game tooltips are actually useful in-game. You can check the progress of an expansion without looking at it if you use the same control group for your nexuses, gateways, command centers, etc. Hatcheries, if you will. Display subtitles, whatever, not really. In 1 versus 1, I'm not going to see any subtitles. And display command hotkey text. What this is going to do is going to put a letter in the bottom right hand corner of your screen in the command card. So that way when you see the stalker, there's going to be an R on it, for instance, and you're like, oh, okay, I press R to build a stalker. Cool. So that way you don't have to drag your mouse over there and scroll over it and read the key. Oh, okay, R, that's what I need. All you have to do is glance down. This is really helpful for learning the hotkeys, or if you're learning new hotkeys, this is, in my opinion, mandatory. Mature language filter, because people get mad and they rage, and you don't want that filth upon your screen. Auto join channels is really nice. Set status to busy when playing game. These are kind of my personal preferences. And then that's it. That's all there is. So hope you've enjoyed this quick run through of what I think are the optimal settings for Wings of Liberty. Hopefully I will see you guys again soon.